say if you cheat and steal and you're illegally voting, you go to jail. Oh my goodness, what a concept.
Got a lot going on here today. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today we've got Donald Trump once again being the target of another crazy person with a pew-pew. We've got Carney being called a dictator on national television in America. We have a ton of stuff going on here. Let's jump into this. Starting this off, we have the cartels in Mexico absolutely enraged, and while they've taken over the streets, they've taken over the airport because apparently the Mexican military has taken out their leader. Now they have commandeered Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, locking down the airport.
I don't know if you can see that, but I can see the flames underneath that black smoke where I thought there was stuff.
So a lot of people's now stranded in Mexico, unable to leave. Moving ahead, we got this from the Investigative Journalism Foundation. CSIS believes Chinese-made cranes at many Canadian ports could be used for espionage or cyber sabotage. A memo by Canada's spy agency found these cranes have features that could access information, including sensitive data about containers and their contents. So perhaps we're already being spied on. And maybe this is by design. Justin Trudeau's like, just bring it on in, guys, set it up. We've got Juno News posting this just days after Carney unveiled his $6.6 billion defense industrial strategy. The Liberal government is moving to recruit foreign workers directly into Canada's military. As we see here, highly skilled foreign military applicants. Canada plans to boost Canadian forces with foreign recruits. We're not going to wait for the right people. We're going to go out into the world and recruit the people our country needs. Here's Mark Carney's immigration minister telling us their draconian plan.
And finally, we are creating a new category for skilled military recruits to attract highly skilled foreign military applicants. Eligible recruits with a job offer from the Canadian Armed Forces, including doctors, nurses, pilots, can be invited to apply for permanent residence. They will be subject to the same security and all military requirements. This new category will support our government's commitment to strengthen our armed forces, to defend our sovereignty, and to keep Canadians safe.
That's not what they're doing here. So first off, if they wanted to increase military recruitment, maybe they should make Canadians proud of Canada once again. Instead of having essentially, we've got two guys running Canada here, Mark Carney and Tim Hodgson, which are essentially agents of America. They claim elbows up, but where is their money invested? On top of that, who wants to fight for the Liberals right now? No one. No one wants to fight for the Liberals. Not even the Liberals are joining the military. Another aspect here, what if they bring in a bunch of people from other countries that don't really care about Canadians, and then they order these people to control, fight back against Canadians if things get pretty riled up around here? I don't know. Seems like they're up to something. Moving ahead, we've got this out of Mar-a-Lago press conference. Armed man with a pew-pew and gas can has been ended after trying to breach Mar-a-Lago. Secret Service took this guy down early in the morning. It seems quite clear, even though they're not coming out and saying it, that this guy was probably trying to assassinate Donald Trump.
At 1:30 this morning, the security detail detected that a individual had made his way into the inner perimeter of Mar-a-Lago. A deputy and two Secret Service agents on the detail went to that area to investigate. They confronted a white male that was carrying a gas can and a shotgun. He was ordered to drop those two pieces of equipment that he had with him, at which time he put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position. At that point in time, the deputy and the two Secret Service agents fired their weapons and neutralized the threat.
And what makes this especially dumb is that Trump wasn't even there. He was in D.C. That's how dumb this is. But this is still a serious issue. Obviously, people should not be showing up to the president or even Mark Carney's house with a pew-pew to try to take these leaders out. This is happening far too often here in recent years. While we're talking about American news, we got this one from Fox News. Well, they call out China and Xi Jinping for being a dictator, but they also call out Mark Carney for being a dictator. Now, to set this up, what they're talking about here is tariffs, and Donald Trump's tariffs were just struck down by the court, giving him less power than, say, in Canada, where Mark Carney can just put them on. He doesn't have to pass that through Parliament. There's no process that really checks that.
To give the president a free hand to negotiate these deals and retaliate when the other side retaliates. Carney in Canada doesn't have to go to Parliament. He doesn't have to conduct an investigation. He hits back hard. Ursula in the EU, same thing. Xi Jinping, he dumps and he tariffs. He's got a sword and a shield.
He's a dictator.
He's not a sitting duck. Oh, so's Carney then. He's not a sitting duck like us who has to wait and then go and do an investigation and then come back. This is what we need now.
Did you hear it there? She calls Xi Jinping a dictator and then he calls Carney one.
The EU, same thing. Xi Jinping, he dumps and he tariffs. He's got a sword and a shield.
He's a dictator.
He's not a sitting duck. Oh, so's Carney then. He's not a sitting duck.
Look at her face. She can't believe he just said that.
Like us who has to wait and then go.
I mean, Carney came out and said he's going to have the most transparent government, and he's doing the exact opposite. He's locking things down, sealing away records, trying to pass laws that would allow him to give contracts to Brookfield and have us know nothing about it. It's completely draconian what he's doing. He is a dictator. We got this one here. Muhammad tops Toronto's most popular baby name for newly released 2024 and 2025 data. Yeah. Muhammad, very Canadian name. We got some numbers here coming from David Coletto of Abacus Data. This shows the population growth from 2000 to 2024 and the change in number and the change in percentage. And what do we have here? Well, all these different countries, Austria, Czechia, Denmark, Finland, Germany, etc., you're seeing a 14% increase. For example, in Australia, 8 million people up to 9.1 million people in 24 years. As we go down, what are the biggest ones we see here? 11% increase in Denmark, 13% increase in the Netherlands, 19% increase in Sweden. And where's Canada? We're at the bottom, 34.6%. No wonder our country is struggling so bad. Our healthcare system, jobs, schooling, we went from 30 million to 41 million, increasing 34% in 24 years. This isn't sustainable. It's absolutely breaking our system. Tiny population, largest landmass. I think we have room. Comments like this don't understand what's really going on. We don't have enough houses. You can't just bring people in and lay them on the ground in a sleeping bag. You have to have all the infrastructure set up. You have to have doctors and schooling and everything needed for people to come in. We got Heather Exner-Pirot posting this. Canada ranks 33rd in World Bank's new business readiness score for regulatory framework. US is 5th and UK is 12th. That's right. Canada ranks 33rd. As we see, we are 71.8 right here. And if we go back to page 1, because there is another page here, here's number 1, Czechia, Greece, Spain, Poland, and United States is number 5. Canada's uninvestable, and that's why we're dropping to the bottom of the list, all thanks to the Liberals. We've got this one from Canada Proud. In 2025 alone, the Carney Liberal government sent out over 1 million checks that were never cashed by their recipients. The total value of these government checks was $609.4 million. Where did the money go? This is coming from Blacklock's reporter. The uncashed checks included 117,654 individual tax refunds worth $107 million, 264,000 carbon tax rebates. That's funny. 250,000 carbon tax rebates. People were not cashing those. 69,000 Canada pension plan checks worth 28 million. Another 27,000 uncashed old age security checks. I think a lot of these checks are going to the same Laurentian elites that don't need the money. We've got 4,800 unemployment insurance checks. This is wild. Moving ahead, we've got Heritage Minister Mark Miller is warning Canadians to be wary of illegitimate media that doesn't align with state-funded outlets like the CBC. I wonder who that could be. And with that, we've got this clip here of Mark Miller calling CBC the fourth pillar of democracy.
Integral to a healthy democracy. Indeed, the fourth pillar of our democracy is a healthy media ecosystem that exercises rightly its freedom of expression. Again, integral to that is a state-financed public media that is the CBC or Radio-Canada.
This guy sounds like he's auditioning to be the fourth or fifth in command in North Korea. Get this guy his clown car and get him out of here. Government-funded media pushing out propaganda. The Liberals work so hard at lying, it's a shame they don't put the same effort into doing good governance as they do with all the negative things they pull. Shameful. Moving ahead, we've got David Coletto with this. 2/3 of Canadians say right now it feels like no matter what they do, they can't get ahead financially. Of course, because the Liberals keep spending money we don't have. They keep printing money and it makes things more expensive. Just look at the price of green peas. I've been tracking them since I started this channel. It used to be $1 for a bag of frozen green peas, and today they're nearly $3. They're over $3 in some grocery stores. The cheapest I've seen them now is around $2.65-70 if you're lucky. They used to be $1. So if you go to the grocery store a couple years ago and you had $100 and say there was no tax, you could buy 100 bags of green peas. Today you'd get 35, 40 bags. That is inflation in a nutshell. The Liberals keep spending money, printing money we don't have. It devalues use the dollars we do have. It makes us all poor. It's a silent thief. With that, Coletto showing this here, spending decisions among Canadian consumers, and we have this, I avoid spending wherever possible because it feels safer to hold on to money, 24%. I feel stuck, everything feels expensive, so I delay decisions and put things off is 22%. I've adjusted, I found a system that works that I feel I'm in control, 20%, and I'm pushing back, I switch brands fast and refuse to reward companies that take advantage, 18%. And then spending decisions have not changed, 10%. Also got this one here. This is another one from this same poll. It says right now I feel no matter what I do, I can't get ahead financially. And that's 31% agrees, and then somewhat agrees 35%, and disagree and strongly disagree. So what's interesting about this is not just conservatives. There's liberals in here or NDP. Somehow Pierre Poilievre and the conservatives have to showcase that the conservatives are going to be the ones to fix this, because the liberals won't do it. Mark Carney has been telling Justin Trudeau for 5 years just to print money because it makes his banker friends rich. It is devaluing all of our dollars. Meanwhile, he's invested in America. And I suspect that Tim Hodgson is also invested in America, just like Mark Carney. After all, Tim Hodgson here is an American. That's right. He has dual citizenship. Our energy minister is an American. Stack that on top of us having a prime minister who's 91% invested in America. Who do you think they're making decisions for? Elbows Up crew are getting fooled and they don't even realize it. And Tim Hodgson here, when asked about giving up his dual citizenship, he says there's no reason to give it up. Not at this time. No, of course not. No confusion about where my loyalties lie. No, there's definitely no confusion. That's for sure. It's not Canada. Moving ahead on CNN in America, we've got quite the wild segment here. There's all this talk of bringing in voter ID because America doesn't have that as a law. So then they get all these fraudulent votes being cast during elections. And these leftists seem to have a problem with this. It's absolutely ridiculous. And Kevin O'Leary just sticks it to them straight here.
Every metric, every 24 months, we go through this debate over and over again. When every country in the Nordic countries in Europe, France, Switzerland, Canada, Australia, solved this problem decades ago. A, you got to be a citizen to vote. You got to prove it. We all agree at the table on that one. Number two, there's such advancement in technology to make sure there's no cheating. We should implement it here and get all this crapola over with. It's getting almost boring every 24 months. Oh, the election's rigged. Oh, this guy's doing this guy's doing that. No other country has this narrative.
Kevin,
Nobody.
I agree with you. It is getting
It's ridiculous.
Boring. We talk about this all the time. It's incredibly boring, but it's also not an actual problem. Like when you look at the statistics, voting, illegals voting is not an actual problem in this country. You do.
This is America's Janice McGregor of CBC, basically. She looks exactly the same stink face, like she just took in a deep breath of a stinky sulfur fart.
You need to show ID.
You agree.
To be able
You're not
to
a
vote.
citizen.
It is 0.
Yeah, we agree with that, but let me help
But that's not what the problem is.
Gotcha.
The problem is that we have 0.001% of people that are illegally voting. The Heritage Foundation said that 3 related fraud cases since 2017. The Brennan Center for Justice says there's 100 confirmed instances since the 1980s. This is not a real problem. The problem the Trump administration is trying to solve is that they are not doing well. They are not going to do well in the midterm elections, and they are coming up to it to find a result.
Yes or no? Is it illegal?
It's already illegal.
No one is doing that. That's already illegal.
Is it?
It's already illegal to vote if you're not a citizen.
Why not just say if you cheat and steal and you're illegally voting, you go to jail? Oh my goodness, what a concept.
That's already the law.
Right, they know that. I'm happy.
Yeah, so Kevin O'Leary losing his mind sitting here listening to this nonsense, because what they're trying to do in America there is get rid of the fraudulent voting. They don't demand voter ID. So there's one more clip here at the end, the very end of the show. Listen to this.
Good.
All right, Kevin, a quick last word.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm not sure.
My last word is, you're all nuts. Like, that's just...
Oh, my God.
Thank you, Kevin. That's
Guys, please.
Okay.
Look, we got to keep it together here, okay? Honestly. I mean, there's a way to talk about these things. If you don't have anything to say, just say that, and I won't come to you next time.
Important.
All right, last.
You're all nuts. Yeah. I mean, that's the truth. They are nuts. The left in America are just as nuts as the left in Canada. Is there any difference here? Moving ahead here, we got Canada proud with this one. It says, at a time when Canadians are waiting hours in the emergency room to see a doctor, assuming the ER is even open in your town at all, which is actually a common occurrence around where I live here. There's certain hours for emergencies, so don't have a mistake. Don't break your leg or have anything horrible happen in the off hours. Preposterous. The Carney Liberals are spending your money on giving health care to people who are here illegally. illegally and for free. And that's what we see here. How much of your tax dollars are the Liberals projected to spend on healthcare for refugees and illegal migrants? In 2025-26, this year, we have $989 million. And you can see that's going all the way up to $1.25 billion in just 5 years. Because according to Mark Carney, the Liberals here, Canadian lives don't matter. People going to food banks doesn't matter. Give those illegals over there free healthcare and free food, free stay. All the people paying the taxes, they don't matter. The Liberal Party of Canada does not love this country. This is not acceptable. No benefits for non-citizens. We got this one as well. 84% of Canadians now see the US as the biggest threat to world peace. Almost twice as high as those who see Russia in the same way. That is unreal. This is what happens when you have propaganda media pushing this stuff out day in and day out. 84% US, only 10% China, 29% Russia, and 2% EU. TDS has pushed Canada into uncharted waters of insanity. That is well said by Tokyo. This image here sums up what's happening in Canada. People need to put their frustration of Trump aside and just look at it in a long-term picture. Trump's not going to be president in 3 years. So then what? Then is it okay to go back to being friends with America? These are relationships between two countries, two peoples. Donald Trump does not represent all of America, but he is the loudest voice because he's the president. And Carney is smart enough to take advantage of all the people that are clueless, and well, he's going to walk our economy right off the edge. Moving ahead, we've got this from Blacklock's reporter. The Liberals' plan to bring green energy to First Nations has cost the equivalent of more than $9,000 per person so far. Projects can take more than 10 years to develop. This is nonsense. These people need real solutions for power. Instead, what do they get? The utopian fantasy that never pans out. It's disgraceful. Some of these communities don't have clean drinking water, and the Liberals are enabling this. Corrupt chiefs pocketing money, sending over even more cash for green grift, and the everyday Indigenous person is the one that pays the price. There's not a chance in hell that this will be successful. No.